So hello to all you balance fanatics. I've changed my position today because you do need a little bit of space around your mat. So making sure you have space front and back, sides, because you will be doing lots of different things in different areas. And you'll be using quite a lot of long limb stuff. So you just need to make sure you've got a little bit more space around you. Make sure you have some water. Let's start with the Pure Yoga Mandala for balance. So starting first of all in child's pose, just taking a few moments here just to find that present, that body in this space for the next 45 minutes of practice, maybe give or take a few minutes. Walk the hands forward, bring the sit bones back towards the heels and just settle the chest in between those thighs for a few moments. Switching to how the body feels now as you've arrived in practice. Big toes together, knees nice and wide. Scan that body from the fingertips to the toe tips. Making sure you're relaxed through the shoulders. Making sure you're long through the spine. Making sure you're relaxed through the hips. Maybe your sit bones are a little higher away from the heels than mine are. It doesn't necessarily matter, just so long as you can find some comfort in this child's pose just for a breath or two. When you've taken that scan of the body, bring the focus to the breath. Breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the nose if you can, using that Ujjayi breath. That warming inside sensation, that slight restriction at the back of the throat. Taking lateral flexion, walking the hands over to your right side of the mat. Left hand on top of the right, sink the chest to the inside of the right thigh. Left sit bone back towards that left heel. Keep the shoulders relaxed, the neck relaxed, the hips relaxed. Feel that stretch along the left side body and the contraction down the right side body. One more breath here. Nice deep breath in, nice long breath out. Then on your next inhale, walk the hands over to your left side mat, bringing your right hand on top of the left, sinking the chest to the inside of the left thigh this time. Right sit bone back towards the right heel. Breathe into that right rib cage. Relax the shoulders, the neck, the hips. Bring the hands back to center. Just take a few moments in neutral spine. So we're going to be working with stability, so that is where we're grounding and finding the earthing of the feet when we find our balance, or maybe with the hands if we're doing any hand balances. And you're finding that balance through the whole body, finding the equilibrium, so the stability comes first, and then we find those muscles engaging as we bring ourselves into balance. Next breath in, bring yourself up onto your hands and knees. Shoulders under the hips, knees underneath shoulders over the heel of the hands, hips over the knees. Take a couple of rounds of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts up the head, lifts up the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, we fold everything back in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks, centre of the spine lifts. Do that a few more times, articulating the spine in extension and flexion. Feeling that vertebra moving from the bottom of the sacrum all the way up to the cervical spine around the neck. One vertebra at a time. The next time you come back through neutral, hold it in that space. Step both feet back into a plank position. Hold it in plank for a couple of breaths. Finding a little strength work here. Grounding through the toes, grounding through the hands. Finding the squeeze of the glutes, the draw back of the belly, pushing the hands into the mat to find stability as we push that chest cavity into that space between the shoulder blades. One more breath here. And then start to paddle the feet as you start to raise the hips to find that restorative down dog. Moving maybe the hips a little from side to side, maybe taking that up through the spine, up through the shoulders, into those elbows, into those wrists. And then if you're happy to bring that down dog into stillness, encouraging the heels back to stretch that posterior chain of muscles, widen the fingers, hands shoulder width apart, feet hip width apart. Try not to arch the lower back too much, Try and draw the belly back, tether the ribs and the hips, keeping it nice and strong in that core centre. Remember that strength work needs to happen as we find these different balances. Next breath in, forward to plank on the inhale. Take your choice, Vinyasa. If you're coming with me, dropping the knees and tucking the toes, releasing the chest to the floor. Push into the hands and lift up the chest. Release that chest back down to Kunda with the toes. Bring those chests back towards the thighs. Pushing into the hands, pushing into the feet. Lifting up the hips and squeezing the heels back. Option 2, if you're coming with me, forward to plank on the inhale. Release down to the floor, straight bodies, elbows grazing the wrists. Untuck the toes when you get there. Push into the hands, lift up the chest. Release the chest back down to Kunda with the toes. Bring those chests back towards the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet. Lift up the hips and squeeze those heels back. Last Vinyasa, option 3 if you're coming with me, forward to plank on the inhale. Release to a hover, elbows grazing those ribs. Roll over the toes and lift up the chest, taking it into your full expression of up dog. Making your way back to down dog. Lifting those hips and squeezing those heels back. Have a little nod, have a shake of the head. Lift up onto the tippy toes, lift the heels. Engage through the calves at the back of the leg, stretching through the bases of the feet. And then release those heels back down. Gaze in between the hands, take a bend in the knees, step or jump to the front of the mat. And then allow the body to fold over those legs. And just let go of the head, let everything traction in that forward fold from the spine at the top down to the thoracic, down to the lumbar. And then bending the knees, roll up through that spine, arms staying heavy as you bring yourself all the way up to standing. When you arrive in standing, roll the shoulders back. Just take a moment in mountain pose just to find that stability in the feet, all 4 points of the feet. Maybe lift all 10 toes, bring them down one by one. Relax the shoulders, tall through the spine, the tuck of the tailbone, a softness in the knees, so we're not locking out in the joints. So we're going to start our flow of Mandala for balance. We're going to be doing a fair few balances through this. Make sure you've got that space. If you wish to take some water, take it now. Your next breath in, raise the hands, sink the hips and find your chair. And then bring yourself into drinking bird. Bring the arms back and come up onto those tippy toes. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Hold it in that drinking bird. That 90-degree angle with the torso at the hips. 90-degree angles with the knees. Then release your left heel down. Kick back with your right leg. Bring forward with the hands to find your warrior 3 position. Holding in this space for a couple of breaths. And then take a bend into your left knee and drop your right foot to the back of the mat and find your high lunge. Now try and track the front foot in front of the back foot so we have that tightrope balance. It will challenge your balance a little bit more, but it will get you really stable as you push down into the feet. Relax the shoulders. Then drop your right heel down internally. Turn the shoulders to the right. Straighten the left leg, arms to T-shape. Then bring that left hand down to the inside of that left leg as you reach that right hand up to the ceiling. Finding triangle pose for a breath. Easy breath in and long breaths out. So now the arch of that right foot should be having that left heel centralized in the middle, so we've got that good balance, that stability of the feet, strong engagement into the floor. Then turn the shoulders down towards the left foot, step onto that left foot, hands ground to the mat as you raise that right leg up to the ceiling, lifting it as high as you can. And then from this position, pendulum that right foot down as you lift the torso up. Bring that right leg through. Bring the arms up to the ceiling and finding a straight leg. If you want to bend that right knee, feel free to do so. Easy breath in. Long breath out. Then release that right leg down. Bring your hands together at the chest. Just hold it in that space. Long breath in, long breath out. Your next breath in, lift up with the arms. On your out breath, find chair. Then find your drinking bird, lifting up from the heels, squeezing those shoulder blades together, finding 90-degree angles in all the joints, finding the balance on the tippy toes, the core engagement, keeping that tailbone tucked, the lower belly lifted. And then bring your right heel down, lift your left leg back and find your warrior three, both legs nice and straight, heel of the left foot pushing back, toes of the left foot squeezing towards those shins. Long breath in, long breath out. And then release that left foot behind the back heel of the right foot with a nice long stance to find high lunge. Right knee's bent, left leg is straight. Trying to encourage that left heel down as much as you can and keep a bend in that right knee. Engage the ribs and the hips. Squeeze that left bum cheek. Then turn the shoulders around to the left. Bring the arms down to a T shape and straighten that right leg. Reach forward and down with the right hand as your left hand lifts. Maybe gaze up towards that left hand stacks over that right shoulder. So we should feel like we could put two planes of glass either side of the body. And we're slithering in between those two pieces. One more breath here. And then turn the shoulders down towards that right foot. Step onto that right leg and find your half splits. Let go of the head and let the gaze go back. Raise that left leg as high as you can. And then we're going to start to pendulum that left leg through. So starting to bring the left leg down. Leave the floor with the hands. Bring that left foot through straight or with a bent knee. And then reach those arms back up. Finding that pendulum leg in the forward facing position, heel pushing away, left toes back to the shins. Then release that left leg back down. Bring the hands to the chest. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. And breath out, fold over the legs. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step back to a plank. And find that vinyasa of your choice. Drop knees, straight bodies to the floor or chaturanga hover. And then lifting up with the hips, squeezing the heels back. Your next breath in, your right leg lifts. And on your out breath, you bring that right foot through in between the hands. Walk the hands around to the center of the mat, toes in front of the heels. And just allow that body to fold in between those feet. Let go. Take traction through that cervical spine. Your next breath in, heel toe the feet back into the center and bring the torso up to that half lift. Come up onto tippy toes, point the heels in towards each other, bend into the knees, find a squat. If you want to find the balance, bring the hands away, palms together at the chest, relax the shoulders down. Long breaths in and long breaths out. Then release the hands back to the floor, straighten up through the legs, drop the heels down, release the head down so we come to a forward fold. And then bring your weight into your left foot. As you start to raise up, bring the hands up to the ceiling and bring the knee out to the side. When you find that standing position with an external rotation of the hip on that right side, bring the hands back to the chest. So choice can be to keep that knee bent on this transition of 180 around the back, or if you're coming with me, we straighten that right leg out, start to tilt from the hips, pointing the toe tips of the right forward, then swing that right leg around so we find our warrior three, toes pointing down, and then swing that right leg behind you and bring the outside edge of that right foot to the floor, bending in your left knee. Bring your right hand down, reach your left hand up, and then maybe straighten back through that left leg to get a stretch down the outside edge of that left thigh. Opening the chest towards the left side. The support of the right hand. Easy breathing as you hold here for another breath. Then bring that left hand back down. Bring your right foot back to meet the left. And fold over those thighs, let the head go. Same thing, opposite side. So start to bring your weight into your right foot as you lift up, with your left leg. Bringing that leg out to the side. Again, you can keep that knee bent. Raise the hands up to the ceiling just for a breath. Then bring the hands back to the chest. We're doing the same on the left leg, so keep the knee bent or straighten the leg out, toes pointing up. Then fold forward from the hips, toes point forward. Then swing that left leg behind you, toes then start to point down. And then bring that left leg to the outside of the right leg. Left outside foot plants to the floor. Bring your left hand down, reach your right hand up, and then straighten through that right leg. IT band stretch on that right side. Turn and rotate with the torso now to the right side of the room. And find those breaths as easy as you can find them. Then bring that right hand down to the floor. Bring your left foot back to meet the right. Heel toe them out to the sides. Wide leg stance. And then allow that body to fold back over those thighs. Take a breath in this position. Your next in-breath in, come up to a half fold. Walk the hands now to the back side of the mat. Step back to plank and take a vinyasa of your choice. Releasing down to the floor or a hover. Rolling through, up, lifting the chest. Making your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. We're going to take that chair sequence to the back of the mat. Take a gaze in between the hands, take a bend in the knees, step or jump to the front of the mat and allow that body to fold over the legs. Next breath in, raise those hands up to the ceiling, palms come together at the top. On your out breath, bring the hands to the chest. Next breath in, bend the knees, scoop the arms forward, sink the hips. On your out breath, bring the hands back, find drinking bird, lift the heels, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Then drop the left heel, bring the arms forward, the right leg back, finding that warrior three position. Feeling the weight in that left foot. And then take a bend into that left knee, step your right foot back behind that left heel and raise the arms, tightrope feet. Then drop the right heel down, turn the shoulders, bring the arms to T-shape and straighten through that left leg. Reach forward and down with the left hand as the right hand lifts to find that triangle pose. Turning, facing the right side of the mat, but that left foot's turned to the back of the mat. Then turn the shoulders back down to the floor, bring the hands to either side of the left foot. Step onto that left leg to find that half splits. If you wish to bring the hands away, bring the hands to the ankles or keep that stabilisation with both hands grounded. We're going to pendulum from here, so bringing your right leg through, either choice to bring it into a bent knee or a straight leg. Lift up the arms, finding that L-shaped position. Then release that right leg back to the mat, the hands to the chest. Just take a moment here. Your next breath in, bend the knees, raise the arms, find your chair. And then find your drinking bird, arms back, come up onto the toe tips, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Then bring your right heel down, bring your hands forward and send your left foot back to find your warrior three, pushing the left heel back and the toes back to the shins. Then take a bend into your right knee, step your left foot back, tightrope feet, raise the arms, high lunge, try not to flare the ribs. Then drop that left heel down, turn the shoulders and the hips, bring the arms to a T shape, straighten the right leg. Then reach forward with the right hand, bring it into the inside of the right shin as the left arm lifts. Finding triangle, feeling those two panes of glass on either side of the body. Left shoulder stacks on top of the right, right hip tucks under the left. Then turn the shoulders down to the floor, bring the hands to the mat, step forward onto your right leg. Find standing splits, relax the head. Choice to bring the hands onto the ankles if you wish, just for a breath. And then pendulum through with that left leg, bringing it all the way through, forward and up with that left leg and the arms. Really squeezing that hip flexor to lift the weight of that left leg. And then release that left foot down, hands to the chest. Take a moment here in mountain pose. Next breath in, raise the hands, bring the palms together at the top. On your out breath, fold from the hips, bring the hands to the floor. Breath in, come up to a half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step back to plank. Release to a hover or all the way to the floor. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Making your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips and squeeze of those heels back. On your next in-breath, raise the right leg. Bring that right foot in between the hands. We're making our way all the way around now to the left side, wide side of the mat. Toes in front of the heels. Allow that body to fold over those legs. And take a moment in forward fold. Feeling the stretch through those calves, up into those hamstrings, up into those glutes, those lower backs. Next breath in, come up to a half lift. Heel toe the feet back together in the centre, just slightly apart. And then fold over those thighs to a forward fold. Then come up onto tiptoes, turn the heels into touch. Bend the knees out to the side as you bring the seat to the feet. Maybe take those hands away if you can find a balance and bring them to the chest. Grow tall through the spine. Feeling that relaxation through the shoulders, the relaxation through the mind, but that core engagement, that activeness through that core centre. Bring the hands back to the floor, lift up with the hips, release the heels to the mat and forward fold back over those legs. Bringing your weight into your left foot, take a hold of the big toe on the right side with peace fingers, index finger, middle finger. Bring your left hand onto your hip and then start to come up, weight into the left foot as you lift your right foot away, bending into that right leg as you come up high. So choice can be to stay here with the right leg bent, Or push that right heel away to straighten the right leg out, pushing it in and away from the body, the right toes back to the shins and roll the shoulder back. If you've got hold of the toes and you're actually still with a bent knee, externally rotate that knee out to the side. If you're with me, take that right foot out to the side of the right as we open up through the groin on the inner right thigh, keeping tall, straight through the standing left leg. And then bring that right foot back to the middle. Take a bend back into that right knee if it's not already bent, and slowly lower that right foot back to the floor, folding over that left thigh. Release the foot when you get there and fold over that leg. Same on the other side. Weight comes into your right foot. Take hold of the big toe on the left with index finger, middle finger. Right hand comes onto the hip. Find that stability through the right leg as you come up slowly with a bent left knee. Bringing yourself up. Crown of the head stucking on top of the spine. Either keep the knee bent, or if you're with me, straighten that left leg back out. Turn the gaze maybe to the right if you wish. And then take that left leg out to the side, either with bent knee or straight leg. Finding that equilibrium as that long limb has come out to the left. It will want to throw you to the left side. The weight will want to tip you over that way. Find that balance through that core, that squeeze of that right glute. One more breath here. Then bring that left leg back to the center. If you're not already bent, bend into that left knee. And then start to fold back over that right thigh. And as you come to the fold, release that left foot back to the floor, the hands down, let go of the head. Next breath in, come up to a half lift. Heel toe the feet out to the edges of the mat. And then fold back over those thighs. Stretching through the calves and the hamstrings, the glutes and the lower back. Your next breath in, come up to a half lift. Walk the hands around to the left foot so we're back facing the front of the mat. Step back to plank and take a vinyasa of your choice here. Release down to a hover or to the floor. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing of those heels back. Have a nod, have a shake of the head. Then gaze in between the hands, take a bend in the knees, step or jump to the front of the mat. Allow the body to fold over the legs. On your in-breath, raise the hands up to the ceiling, palms together at the top. On your out-breath, bring the hands to the chest. We're just going to do that chair sequence again one more time to the front of the mat. If you want to take on a little bit of water, feel free to do so now. On your next breath in, raise the hands, bend the knees. On your out breath, bring the hands back, come up onto tippy toes for drinking bird. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Then drop the left heel down, straighten the right leg back to the back of the room, straighten the left leg, arms come forward. Warrior 3. And then bend into that left knee, step your right toes directly behind that left ankle and raise the arms, tightrope legs. Palms push together, shoulders relaxed, try not to flare the ribs. Then drop the right heel down internally, bring the arms to a T shape, straighten the left leg. Reach forward and down with that left hand to the inside of the left shin as the right hand lifts. 2 planes of glass either side of that torso. Then turn the shoulders down to the floor. Step forward onto your left foot as you raise the right leg. Keep nice and strong in that left outside hip as you maybe bring the hands away. Maybe lift that right leg a little higher by squeezing that right bum cheek. And then pendulum that right leg through, lifting up with the torso, up with the hands. Toes back towards the shins on the right leg. Tall through the crown of the head, grounded through the left sole of the foot. Bring that right leg down, bring the hands to the chest. We'll do that on the other side. Take a bend in the knees, raise the arms, sink the hips. Then take the hands back, find drinking bird, lift the heels, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Then drop the right heel, send your left leg back straight, straighten the right leg, arms come forward into that warrior three. Then bend into your right knee, step your left toes directly behind that right heel. Raise the arms, relax the shoulders, tether the ribs and hips. Then dropping the left heel down, bring the arms to T-shape, straighten that right leg. Reach forward and down to the inside of that right shin as that left arm lifts. Finding triangle towards the front of the mat. Then turning the shoulders down, bringing the hands either side of your right foot, step forward onto your right leg and lift your left. Engage the outside of that right hip. Relax the head. Maybe bring the hands to the ankles to find that one limb balance. And then pendulum that left leg through. As the leg comes through, bring the toes to the shins to create the space. And then reach that left leg up to hip height, using those hip flexors, straightening through the right leg, lifting up through the hands. Then release that left foot down, hands to the chest, and take a little paddle of those feet. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling, palms together at the top. Breath out, fold from the hips, bring the hands to the floor. Breath in comes to a half lift. Breath out, either step back or jump back, chaturanga arms. Roll through, up, lift up the chest, either into up dog, baby cobra, or your full expression of up dog, thighs away. Take it back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. So we finished our full 360 turn around the mat mandala. We're just going to add a couple more poses onto the end. We're just going to have balance with our down dog. So bring your right heel slightly into the centre and reach your left leg up to the ceiling. Put your weight strongly into that left hand. Try and find the balance on the left hand, right leg as you reach the right hand back by the side of the waist, hand by the side of the hip. For that down dog position on two limbs. The foot is acting as a stabiliser on the right leg. One more breath. Then bring that right hand back. Come back up onto the toes of the right foot. Bring the left foot back to meet the right. Come forward to plank inhale. Take a vinyasa of your choice. Strong torsos, strong glutes. Finding your way back to down dog. This time drop your left heel internally. That acts as your stabiliser. Lift your right leg up to the ceiling. Bring your weight into your right hand as you bring that left hand away. Bringing it back towards that left hip. Finding two-legged down dog. Holding that pose just for another breath. Keep pushing into that right hand. Bring that left hand back forward. Come onto the toes of the left foot. Drop the right foot to meet the left. Take a vinyasa of your choice. So we have one more pose of the day. Your choice can be fallen triangle with the foot grounded to the outside of the mat, or you may wish to come with me to find that two limb balance. Breath in, your right leg lifts. Breath out, bring your right knee to your left elbow. Now this is where you can make a choice. You can either thread that right foot under and bringing the outside of the foot onto the floor. Drop that left heel down. If you're coming with me, take a hold with the left hand on the outside edge of the right foot. Turn the shoulders and the hips. Either stay here with a bent leg or straighten that right leg out, lifting the right leg high up to the ceiling. Keep pushing into that right hand, holding just for one more breath. And then bend back into that knee. Bring your left hand back to the floor. Reach your right leg up to the ceiling. Bring it back to meet the left. Vinyasa, forward to plank. Inhale. Release to a hover to the floor. Whatever works for you right now with your energy levels. One more pose to go on the other side. Either fallen triangle with that left foot grounded. Breath in, raise the left leg. Breath out, bring that left knee to the right elbow. Either bring it through and plant it on the floor, or drop that right heel internally. Weight comes into your left foot. Take the right hand to the inside of that left foot. And then turn the shoulders and the hips. Either keep the left knee bent or straighten the left leg out, lifting it up. Getting that full hamstring stretch on that left leg, supported by the right foot dropping internally. One more breath. And then bend back into that knee. Turn, place the hand back down. Raise the left leg to the ceiling. Bring it back to meet the right. Last vinyasa. Forward to plank. Release down to a hover. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing of the heels back. Make your way into a seat. Either swing the legs around or jump the feet forward. Bums into the centre, heels to the front. So a seated balance of both before we end, just to get that core engagement. So we're going to be balancing on that space between the sacrum and the sit bones. So taking a bend into the knees, take a hold of the creases of the knees and find that point between the triangle of the two sit bones and the sacrum tailbone. Roll the shoulders back. Bring up your right leg up to knee height. Bring up your left leg. Choice to stay here with the balance. Or if you wish to go a little stronger, straighten the right leg, straighten the left leg. Really engaging the upper thighs to straighten the knee. Relax the shoulders. Grow tall through the crown of the head. Point through the toes. Maybe like me, you're feeling a little shaky here. You can stay here, or if you want to take it a little deeper, right hand lifts, left hand lifts, holding it in that full V-shaped position of boat for the count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just take low boat for the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release your body to the floor. Bring the arms out to a T shape, arms facing down. Take a bend into both knees, feet hip width apart. Lift up the tailbone. Take it over to your left side. Let the knees drop over to your right side, gazing towards that left hand. If you want to get a little more stretch down that left outside thigh, bring the hand of the right to the toes of the left and then straighten that leg out. Feel the stretch down the outside of that left thigh into the glute medius, into that piriformis muscle on that left hip. Breathe in easy here, slowing it down. Ready for a couple of minutes of relaxation. Take a bend back into the left knee. Bring the knees back to centre. Bring the hips over to your right side. Drop your knees over to the left side. Keep the shoulder of the right grounded. If you want that thigh stretch on the outside of the right leg, bring your left hand to the toes and then straighten that leg out. Maybe you feel a little more twist through the waist, the lower back. If it's feeling too tight in the lower back, go back to bent knees. Maybe take that gaze towards that left hand. Take a bend back into that right knee. Take the gaze back up to the ceiling. Bring the knees into the centre. Bring the bums so the spine is nice and long and in one line. Let the knees drop out to the side. Soles of the feet come together. Take that inner groin stretch just to oppose it from the outer thigh stretch. Breathe in here. If you wish to bring the hands onto the hips, feel free to do so. If you want to go straight into relaxation in this position, maybe bring the hands down just slightly away from the body and let the palms face up. Find a comfortable space at the back of the head. If you want to go into full Shavasana relaxation pose, then take the legs long to the ends of the mat, making them mat width apart or hip width apart. Let the feet drop out to the sides. Maybe have a little rock of the hips. Maybe you want to lift the bum away, tuck the tailbone just to bring that deep arch out of the lower back. Maybe just bring the shoulders down a little. Maybe have a turn of the head in a couple of directions. Bringing it back into that centre space, that comfortable space at the back of the head. Take a nice long deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Close the eyes. Let the jaw relax, the shoulders relax, the breathing pattern be natural. The hips feel soft, the legs are relaxed and the arms are relaxed. Everything from the toes to the crown of the head to the fingertips. Just let everything go. Let the floor support you. Knowing we've worked with stability, the colour red chakra, Manipura chakra. Working with strength, working with our equilibrium, working with the grounding of the feet to the floor. Full stability, full balance. So if you wish to stay here in relaxation a little longer, feel free to pause me now. If you're coming out with me, starting to have a wriggle of the fingers and the toes, maybe some rotation into the wrists, into the ankles. Maybe you want to take that full body stretch, stretching the hands up and over the head, stretching through the fingertips, the toe tips, maybe arching into that lower back. And then bringing the hands up and over, Bringing the knees in towards the chest, maybe having a little rock of that body from side to side, just massaging that spine, thanking it for practice. And your choice to make your way to seated however you feel fit, either rolling to one side or rocking up and down that spine a couple of times, up to seated once, back down, up to seated twice, back down, up to seated. Find yourself in that comfortable seat, either legs crossed, legs out in front or sat on the knees. Bring the hands onto the hips when you've arrived in seated. Keep the head gently bowed, the eyes closed. Just take a few moments to feel gratitude for how your body's moved. Maybe it was a challenge, maybe you fell out of poses. That's absolutely fine. Just take your body for where it is now. Patience is a virtue. On your breath in, bring the hands up and over the head, palms together at the top. Bring the hands to the chest, soft gaze to the floor. Have peace in your thoughts, your words, your hearts. From my heart to yours. Namaste.